Welcome this week to the Foreman Boxing Magazine here in Vibes inside the Choice in Atlantic City, down by the shore, as we always say, down by the boardwalk. If you're old enough to remember that song, under the boardwalk, if you're old enough to remember that song. But anyway, welcome and thank you for tuning in to your Vibe as well as Facebook Live, and we've got a good show today. This is our Throwback Tuesday, and today I got on past one of the greatest cap fights that you ever seen. Holyfield and Bo. I think this is one, if I remember right, because they fought 2 times, if you remember. They actually fought 3 times. So this was the first time. And it was a terrific fight. So this is my throwback hat on today. And remember, as I said, if you got something in the throwback, take a picture of it. Put it on our Facebook. Let us see what it is. And then somewhere along the way, we're going to find out something that we're going to give you for the one who has the best throwback T-shirt, cap, whatever it might be, program, whatever. But anyway, today I'm glad because we have a guest today, and since we're going to talk about throwbacks, we've got the former IBF cruiserweight, actually WBC Fedca box champion. I think that may have been one of the first, if I can remember that right. I mean, he may have been the first one. Emmanuel Mayfield, and we're going to get into Emmanuel's career. And he's also going to tell us a lot about what's going on today and into world of boxing. And then we'll talk about the business end of it as well. But one of the things that fascinated me about him when I was looking at his record, he actually fought a guy that had 118 fights, Jorge Castro, who actually had more than 128 fights. And you just don't see guys that had that many fights. You have to find about 10 fighters today to have that many fights. But he actually fought a guy, and I think he only had like 23 or 24 fights at the time. He took on some great young fighters, Uriah Grant, like I said, Jorge Castro, Jonathan Banks, who now trains, who at one time was training the Klitschko's. I'm not sure exactly where they are these days, but he was training the Klitschko's, and as well as some others. Like I said, Uriah Grant, Jonathan Banks, and he took on a guy right now that's actually considered, I don't know, I think he won the title, or it was like an intimate title, or he's close to fighting for the title. That's Alexander Povetkin. So we're going to talk about him as well, and we'll ask you, Emmanuel, where does he think that he fits in this whole title weight picture too as well. So, Emmanuel, thank you for coming by today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you got your career was long. You had your record 26-10, so you had a pretty good extensive career. But tell us first what got you into boxing, and then we'll kind of go up from that point.
I initially wanted to play football. My senior year, I was academically ineligible because I did, I messed around my freshman year and didn't have enough credits for my senior year. So I was a little bummed out about it, and I just wanted to do something to keep myself busy and occupied, and something that I could compete in. And I went to a place that I didn't know was a boxing gym, and it just so happened to be a boxing gym. And
this was in Perth Amboy?
No, this was in New Brunswick.
Oh, New Brunswick.
My first start was in New Brunswick.
Okay.
And, the guy was sitting on a chair looking into a room, watching the kid hit a bag, because all I heard was the sound of the bag. Bang, bang, bang. So I asked him, what is this? He said, this is boxing. I said, well, how do I sign up? He said, come back tomorrow. Well, that guy that was sitting on that chair was the 1976 Olympic gold medalist, Howard Davis Jr.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of my start as a fighter.
Now, you hear a lot of careers, guys always say, well, I was a bad boy, I was disruptive, and, this is why I got into boxing, but it didn't sound like you had that.
I never had a street fight in my life.
Really?
I never had a street fight in my life.
But you were a big kid, though. You had to be around 6 feet, 6'2" at the time. Yeah. So, it wasn't like nobody just going to walk and challenge you too much.
Nah, but, I never had a street fight in my life.
Would you, and how old were you, 16, 15? 16 years old.
16 when I started.
Okay, and most of the time people say that's kind of late for an amateur program, but I guess you started an amateur program and then went to the pros.
I only had 11 amateur fights.
So you only had 11 amateur fights?
11 amateur fights.
Okay. International or just more state,
New
Jersey?
No, I went to the Nationals once.
Okay.
So funny. I went to the Nationals once. I never fought a southpaw before. And the guy that I fought was a southpaw.
Okay.
And the rounds were only 2 minutes long.
Was
2
it
minutes.
Golden Gloves or the?
Yeah, it was Golden Gloves.
Okay.
2 minutes long,
Okay.
and before I knew it, the fight was over.
Ah,
It wasn't like
Three
he
rounds,
did.
three quick
Nah, it
rounds,
wasn't like he did nothing so spectacular. It just I didn't know what I was looking at. I turned pro shortly after that.
Mm-hmm.
I fought, preliminary fights under the undercard of Howard Davis Jr. because he was making a comeback at that time.
Okay.
And
I was an outstanding fighter, man. I mean, a lot of people.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying a lot of people don't even realize that during the '76 Olympics, he was voted the outstanding
He
boxer.
was.
Yeah,
He
not
was.
Sugar Ray Leonard. It's amazing how life can be sometimes. Yeah. You and I was talking about life a few minutes ago, but it's kind of like what's meant to be. But I'm sorry, go with this story.
Yeah. So once we got to that point of doing prelims, and we got a title shot, we went to Las Vegas. And they had open workouts, and who do I see there? But this guy that I lost to in the Nationals. He's the sparring partner for Holyfield.
Wow!
And I'm getting ready to fight for a world title.
But
after only 11 amateur fights,
did that do anything mentally to you at the time?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I guess it's a thing of I am. Who were you fighting at that time though? Then you were fighting for the first time.
I fought my first title fight in Vegas against Uriah Grant.
Uriah Grant, okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you say, here you are. It has to do something mentally because I lost to this guy. You figure he's over there trying to critique you one way or the other.
Sure.
But I mean, then it's Holyfield. So I mean, quite natural. Now, was this on the undercard of a Holyfield?
It was on. I was the first championship fight.
Okay. Oh, you the first fight. Okay.
On the undercard of Michael Moore and Holyfield.
Oh, okay. This was in what, 90?
97.
97. Okay. So for a guy that only had 11 fights, so you were kind of fast up in the amateur fight.
I was 16-1.
Okay.
As a pro when I fought for my first world title.
And that's really today guys have world title fights that early, but that was considered early. So it comes down to a thing of talent.
Well, they didn't expect me to win.
Your record.
Yeah.
You wanted your record.
They didn't expect me to win. Okay. They thought, I would give them a tough fight. I never fought out of New Jersey. I never fought in front of a pay-per-view crowd.
Yeah.
This was the MGM Grand type, big. We fought at the time at the Mac Center, but this was like Holyfield, this is big.
I was at that fight, though. That's the thing about it. I was at that fight. Yeah, I remember that now. So you're telling me.
Sure,
but the thing about this is that in the world of boxing, when did you sign on any particular one? Did you have a promoter group?
I was with DK at that time.
Okay, you was with Dunn.
Listen,
how was it with Dunn? Anybody that's with DK knows.
Right. He's coming out with you.
Mm-hmm.
Never once was he in the corner with me. Never once. Never once did he stand in the corner with me.
Not once.
Not once. As a matter of fact, he was highly upset that I didn't mention his name after I won.
Well, I mean, why would you though? Really? I mean, he didn't support you at all.
Not at all. And Carl was in the other corner with Uriah Grant.
That was their fight at the time. I remember
that was their fight.
Yeah, it was their fight at the time. How was it with Dunn? I mean, because a lot of people got these stories, but what was it like?
Listen, the first time I ever spoke to him, I was in the hospital with my wife. My son was just born. I couldn't believe I'm talking to Don King on the phone. I'm all starstruck. Ho, champion, you want to fight for a world title? I said, yeah. He said, all right. Don't take that, because I was supposed to take a fight because we were supposed to fight for the USBA.
Okay.
He told me, don't take that fight. He's going to get me right to the world title. So we went over to New York and met him. It was on the undercard of Trinidad and I forget who Trinidad was fighting. But Trinidad was on the card. Joppy was on the card. A few other guys was on the card. And
they was doing that middleweight.
Yeah, and it was outside.
Yeah.
It was in Times Square. They had the ring outside. It was. I was like in awe. I was like, wow, this is great. I'm getting to sign with the best promoter. He's gonna do this. He's gonna move me. I'm gonna do this, do that, and all that glitters is not gold.
Yeah.
So we did what we did, and we defended right away. When we defended, we wasn't even on the I'm the champ.
Right.
We went to somebody else's backyard and defended. The undefeated British champion. We went to his place. My
The
first
title
title
defense. So you didn't get a chance to come home to do the whole thing in the States?
My very first title defense, England.
Okay.
And we knocked him out.
Okay.
Boom. All right. So we figure, all right, you know what? We'll get a little reprieve. No, they said, this has got to go to purse bids. DK let the fight go to purse bids, and we lost to Murad Muhammad, and which we had to fight on.
Another New Jersey boy.
Yeah, we had to fight Arthur Williams.
Okay.
And out of my own admission, I didn't do the right things getting ready for the fight, and we lost. And so it was hard trying to climb back up the ladder because, nobody really wanted to give us an opportunity. So it was like things, through the career was like not serious, not really taking things 100%, giving it 100%. So the problems that I had personally, I put all on myself. I had a great team. Charles Johnson and Jimmy Glenn. Well, I had a great team, and a great team. But it was me, the things that I didn't do properly, that was the reason why my career didn't become as great as it should have been.
So, and to hear you to say that, and we're moving to like the younger fighters of today. And I said the younger fight, even though they're not so young anymore, but guys like the Pacquiao, the Mayweathers, I guess who just at the tailspin, we think at the tailspin of their careers, but Mayweather pretty much has retired or whatever he's done.
Sure.
He's in limbo, put it like that. But Manny Pacquiao continues to fight.
Sure.
As a fighter who fought into their 40s, what is that something? Because you told me a story a few minutes ago that we were setting it before we came on about how you lost 10 pounds.
I did.
Before a fight, the day before a fight.
The day before.
A title fight. Was it a title fight?
It was an elimination bout.
Okay.
So whoever fought that fight and won would have fought. The guy was I think Jirov had it at that time.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was an elimination bout, but I lost 10 pounds.
Now tell us, how did you lose 10 pounds in like 8 hours? Because that's basically what I'm sure that the weigh-in was probably at a certain time. So
I ran it off. I got on the treadmill and didn't get off until it was off. I mean, I stopped intermittently to check my weight to see where it was at because I don't want to pass out, but I got it off.
Because you hear fighters today, there's 1 pound, 2 pounds. They actually give up titles sometimes because there's a 2 pounds. But as you said earlier, sometimes it's a little deeper than that.
It is. It's always a little deeper than that.
But I mean, okay. And so, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by when you say deeper?
So what I mean by deeper is, you weigh it out. I'm gonna lose a couple pounds. I really don't want the fight anyway. It's just an excuse to say, look, I don't want the fight. Pretty much, I don't want the fight. Look, if you want something, I don't care what you're doing in life. If you want something, you're gonna do whatever you got to do to get it. If you really want it. So,
So 10 pounds, you wanted to lose. You wanted to fight because we're talking 10 pounds, not 2. Let's say. And you're a big guy, so it's not. And sometimes it's hard to come off with the bigger guys than the smaller guys.
Sure.
So when a guy, and most people, especially if they're not into boxing, they're more fans than they're anything else.
Sure.
They're saying, "Well, I would have lost the 2 pounds or whatever just to get on the scale. I wouldn't have given up my title." But if it's a little bit deeper than that, sometimes.
Yeah. When you learn better, you do better. I know better than that now. I know how to lose weight now. I'm in the gym every day because I own a gym, and I train fighters. Tell us about that.
That's what I heard. Tell us about that. Where is your gym?
My gym is in Freehold, New Jersey, and I teach boxing. I do classes and I do personal training and things like that. But more than anything else, I'm surrounded by the sport I love every day. And I'm engrossed in it every day. So I've had to understand how to do things the right way because I want to teach the kids the right way. So all the knowledge that I have now about losing weight and about cutting down and strengthening and doing all the things that I know now, it's like, it's amazing. I mean, I amaze myself sometimes just finding out the information and then implementing it. I mean, it's one thing to study and look at stuff on paper, but once you actually implement it into your life, and try it out on yourself. I'm my own guinea pig.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I get to try this stuff out on myself, and I know within myself that I have the ability and the strength. All I need is the opportunity. And
would you still like to fight one more time?
Absolutely, I would. I mean, listen, there's guys that I fought.
Oh, don't worry about it. We'll get it.
There's guys that I fought that are still in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm saying Povetkin is
that are still in the top 10.
Yeah,
no, I'm not even talking about at heavyweight. I'm talking about a cruiserweight.
Okay.
I'm not a heavyweight.
Now you fought Povetkin at heavy or
I fought him at heavyweight.
You fought him at heavy.
Yeah, I fought him out of your category. And he was on steroids.
Yeah, he's been a few times. But let me ask you, let's do this. Let's kind of break down something, and we'll go by the weight classes first. You tell me if you keep up with this. So we'll start with the heavyweights quite naturally.
Right.
Now, who do you see? I mean, and he's champion. Well, both of them are champion now.
Right.
But who do you see of the guys that's there now? The best of the fighters? Because a lot of times the champion is not the best fighter. He has the crown, but he's not necessarily the best fighter.
Yeah.
So who would you see as the best fighter right now of the group between you got Ruiz, you got Wilder, you got Anthony Joshua, you got Povetkin, who's in that mix. Yeah. And I included Anthony Miller in there, but now he's on the other side of the field because of the suspension thing. But who do you see right now as perhaps the best of the heavyweights and the best fight that you think would be?
I mean, without question, it's got to be Wilder.
Okay.
Not necessarily because he has the best style, and not necessarily because he's the best boxer, but he got the biggest heart. He got the biggest drive, the biggest desire. Like his desire, his passion, his love for the sport is so, like, you could just look at him and see. Like, you could look in his eyes and see. I mean, I look at fighters all the time. You can see fight in a guy's eyes, you know, but these other guys are, you know, I'm not to take anything away from any other fighter. Look, anybody that trains to fight and gets in the ring and fight is a champion.
That's where I look at it.
You're a champ.
Yeah,
I call all the kids in my gym champ. They go, champ, I'm not a champ. I said, listen, man, what you're doing, you're a champ to do this, man. This is, everybody don't and won't do what you're doing. You know?
Do what you consider. Everybody look at Ruiz and Joshua. And we talked about that earlier too, as well. As there was a fight that nobody thought Andy Ruiz had a chance, because this was a show. New York, you know, the Mecca of boxing was meant to be a showcase for Anthony Joshua, and people was hoping for the showdown between Joshua and Wilder. What did Andy Ruiz do to that particular, perhaps maybe fight?
It wasn't what Andy Ruiz did. It was what Anthony Joshua didn't.
Okay, so what's your opinion on what happened?
My opinion on what happened is Anthony Joshua he wasn't prepared properly for. Now, whether they said that he had a concussion or they said that something else happened to him, I don't know.
In the gym earlier, they claimed he was knocked out.
Yeah. But whatever the case may be, he wasn't prepared. He was not ready he wasn't ready for anybody. It could have been anybody, any heavyweight that's you a heavyweight, man. You can punch.
Yeah, you 200 some more pounds.
I don't care what people say. Oh, he can't punch. Let me tell you something. I got some little kids in my gym. Let one. Guarantee you won't let one punch you in your face.
Yeah,
guarantee.
Okay. So you see Wilder.
Yeah.
Okay, potentially now, if you Ruiz, you got the title,
right?
Like you had the title.
Sure.
And the ball should be in your court.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But now it's as if they're trying to dictate to Andy Ruiz, because I just heard yesterday that Ruiz said he's not going to London to fight to make the rematch. Correct. I mean, but who has that control? Is the promoter in control of that? The fighter who should have that control? What?
So traditionally, I mean, if you look at any of the other heavyweights who were the man at the time and got knocked out, look at Lennox Lewis. Look at when my man Rahman knocked him out. Right. Boom! He got the rematch right back.
Yeah, he did.
On his terms, and guess what he did? Knocked him out. Same thing happened with Klitschko, but see, with the Klitschko's was a little different. Look, when Layman Brewster knocked out Klitschko,
I think it was.
He didn't rematch. He didn't rematch him.
No, he didn't.
fought his big brother.
No, he did.
Look, whoever little brother lost to, big brother finished him. So they had like a little tag team thing going on.
Okay,
but that was cool. That ordinarily is the thing that happens with the heavyweight scene. You know, you lose the heavyweight champ that everybody likes loses. He usually gets a rematch right back. But it didn't happen in a few like really popular instances, like when Tyson fought Buster Douglas.
Right.
He didn't fight him right back.
No, he didn't.
He was like, nah, I ain't giving him a chance. Because he knew. Yeah. He knew Mike wasn't ready.
Yeah, he knew he wasn't going to be ready. He knew exactly what he was
going to do. He knew Mike
do.
wasn't ready. Yeah, so you know what he went? Know what he did? He went and got that money.
Yeah. I can't blame him.
He went and got that money.
Yeah, he did.
He knew he was going to get knocked out either way. So he went and got that money.
Let me say hello to our Facebook friends. Paul Driscoll, Yusuf Ali, Darren Franklin, Michael Harris, and Janisa Smith. They're asking, love to hear about the positive things you are doing. Such as the young man, boxing is a great art from here to master. This is someone making a comment to you. If boxing is that's a comment. But boxing, you're right. It is. It's a great. I think the discipline that comes with the sport is one of the things that makes it, to me, about most of the time when you meet a fighter, if nothing else, and having grown up in the house with one, they didn't have a son that's one. It's like once they develop that discipline, that's something they never get rid of for the rest of their life.
It's true.
So that's the thing I like about it. But then let's go. All right, and we're going to go back. We'll come back with some more comments, but I want you to finish the story because I want to, as you were saying, the control that the fighter seems to have.
Sure.
But he doesn't always have.
No, he doesn't. Not at all. I mean, when we're talking about having that comeback ability, like, oh, he lost it, now he can come right back and get it. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the right people behind you, you're not getting it.
But see, that's what the problem with the sport of boxing, and I've been in for 40-something years. Mm-hmm. So that I seem to have is that, and I've been continually one of those guys that's been fighting to make the boxer rights be better, stronger than what they have. Because a promoter signs a guy to a contract, sure, and that 1 year, 2 years, whatever it may be, but he signs him to a contract, pretty much putting his career in his life in his hands.
Sure.
Now all of a sudden you get a title and you say, hey, I want to go home. And promoter says, well, and do a title. He said, no, Las Vegas is calling, no, Atlantic City is calling, New York is calling, and the money is here. Yeah. This is where we got to go. But you've been fighting all this time. You want to go home with your title. You want to show your friends that you're your title. Sure. That you have the title and you're a champion. You want to put your wares on in front of the public. Uh-huh. What do you see for boxers? That what should boxers do, or what can they do?
Well, boxing is just too. It's too big. It's hard to really regulate boxing because. I guess it's sort of like the problem that they're having with marijuana. You can make it, and you could grow your own.
Yeah, at home.
You could train fight wherever you want. Like when we first started, we didn't even have a gym. We used to go to the park and train. Mm-hmm. And then we was in the church basement, then we was over there, until we got to the point of where we could be in our own confines. Until, you could raise a kid up from nothing and then get him to that point where you think he's going to become something, and then it's nothing.
But because it's not regulated, this is what it needs. And I mean, they try to bring in, people try to use the Muhammad Ali Act. Yeah. I don't think it's a good example because there are limits with that. Mm-hmm. It's basically, you're talking about main event fighters or 10-round fighters. Mm-hmm. So I don't even think that's a good example.
Right.
But I think myself, I'd like to see fighters with a union. Let's develop a union.
That'd be great.
And that's one of the things that I've been trying to be a part of for so many years. It hasn't been easy because what happens is you get a fighter today, a young guy. Yeah. He's forward. Then all of a sudden, his pockets get deep.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's not forward anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you get that? What has to happen with that fighter?
I think before that happens, the people that have the power to make those decisions, the people that have the power to move people in the right direction, or give people the opportunities that they can give them, it has to be those people.
Yeah, they have to
because
agree
it's those people that they got the cards.
But But as a fighter, are you an employer or an employee? I mean,
you're a sole proprietor.
Okay.
You're a hired gun.
Okay. Yeah.
You wanna? I mean, you see it. I mean, I see it all the time. Anybody got a 147 with a good record if they got, and they'll call them up. Yeah, all right, get me in. But it used to be, even with work, like what we call work sparring. Even with work, man, we used to go to any gym and get sparring, any gym. But now it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
It sure is. Yeah, it is.
You can't get work, and then when there is some work, you got
to be careful, because they don't know. Yeah, you come in with a guy working. He works too hard. The guy,
it's not the same.
But I mean, it's a thing where I talk about this all the time. You get the major pay-per-view fights, right?
Yeah.
And the fighters on the top are being paid. And I use the Mayweather fight because everybody is more familiar with the Mayweather Pacquiao fights that he had over the last few years. Yeah. But these guys up here getting the money.
Absolutely.
The fighters on the undercard are not getting a dime of that.
No.
But they're the ones that's taking as much risk as this guy is up here.
Of course he is.
Now, there's a way that should be shared amongst everybody.
That's never going to happen.
Well, that's what I mean. So we'll see. It's going to stay state. It's going to take state regulation.
You know what the world is? The world, and not just boxing, but I love boxing because it's just like real life. Life is just like boxing. It's you either fight or you get beat up.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
it's no in between. It's no gray areas. You gonna fight for what you gonna get, and if you get it, you fought for it and you got it.
But as a fighter, you're Mayweather, right?
Yeah,
and you're making $100 million, or you Pacquiao, I don't know, but they made it $100 million.
Yeah.
The thing about it, and this is what, as I explained to some politicians I've been meeting with in Texas and even Jersey and other spots, and in California as well, to try to explain to them,
right,
is that if this guy's what they don't understand is how can this guy make the money, and this guy's not being shared, because you have to have a certain amount of rounds to make a fight. It's not like you can just walk in and say we're going to put the silent fight on between Holyfield and Bowe. No. You got to have 26, 32, 44 rounds, which means that you need these guys on this card.
Yes, you do.
Well, why can't fighters, their trainers or their matchmakers, promoters rather, managers, why can't they just pick their feet up and say, hey, look, we demand that we are part of it. 3% of $100 million doesn't break a fighter.
Listen, man, you're talking about real life stuff. You're talking about real life. If I showed you the numbers of real life stuff, it would probably blow your mind. Like real life stuff. I'm talking about just basic, simple stuff. This is nothing compared to just the basic, simple stuff. It's all it is really is just one word: greed.
Right. That's what it boils down to. That's
it's not as complicated as people try to make it be.
It's not.
It's just greedy people. But there's people that have never put a hand wrap on, put a glove on, nothing, that make more money in boxing than any fighter ever will.
That's true.
Any one regular ordinary fighter.
Well, years ago, I worked as an NFL rep a few years back, right? Where you could get a guy, and I could say I'm his agent.
Yeah.
You got to talk to me.
Yeah.
Right? But the NFL and the NBA quickly changed that.
Yes.
Because they knew, well, I say quickly over the period of time, they changed that because they could see that I have this certain connection with you as a young basketball or football player, right?
Sure.
And you trust me more than you do this guy in the suit.
Sure.
So now, and I listen to you, they said, we got to change this. We got to come with some type of format. Boxing is the only sport I tell people. You get your towel, you throw it on your shoulder, you're a trainer. You get your suit and tie, you put it on, you're a promoter. See, that's the problem I have. If there's a problem with the sport of boxing, I do have.
But look, this what people don't really look.
God forbid you're a lawyer. So I mean,
but look, this is what people don't do. They don't go deep, but they talk about the surface stuff. They don't go deep to the root of what this is. The root of what it is something that has been happening since the foundation of this nation. Back in chattel slavery time, they used to take and make you fight
against each other.
Liquor and make you fight each other. you didn't get nothing for that. Nothing except, maybe an extra piece of meat or something.
A woman,
something.
Right?
Yeah. It's nothing. It's nothing different. It's just the inflation of the time. Okay, now you get a little more. Now you're gonna get a little more. You get a little more as inflation of time go. But where's that money being generated from?
And that's the thing about it, though. See, I mean, people holler about, Mayweather done made this, or whoever, these guys made that X amount of dollars. The problem is that television, the one who puts this on.
Yeah.
Now, they tell you, we made X amount of dollars that night. But that's residual money.
Sure.
That's there. That for the next, HBO could take this same fight in a Showtime. I don't want to single out HBO, but they're not in the business anymore. But Showtime, HBO could take, even ESPN, who's in the pay-per-view business, and Fox too. They could take these fights, show it tonight. Now, they just got $79, $99, $89, whatever they got that night. But the residual parts that the fighter does not share in, years down the line, they can come in and say, hey, look, we're going to show this again at a special time. And guess what? You may get 1 million people to come in and pay $10 just to see that fight, but the fighter gets none of that.
Sure.
Those are the things that needs to be, that the fighters themselves, and because it's not an educational thing with the fighters,
right.
You're an educated guy, you're a smart guy. A lot of and maybe some of the young ones are getting a little bit smarter, but because of the way it was at first, guys were coming out the street, they were just street toughs. People who took them and learned them how to box. Right. They didn't try to teach them about money. Right. Mike Tyson didn't go to learn about money. Right. Evander Holyfield didn't go to learn about money. Riddick Bowe, they had somebody else they depended on. Right. And it was probably that guy that was in the suit.
Yeah.
Okay. And with the towel that they had to depend on.
It was. What you have to understand is that what I said in the beginning, going back to the beginning, nothing that has been established has not been established without that same formula. Divide and conquer. Unity is the only way that we can ever come out from under any kind of oppression.
Exactly.
Who do you see boxing? Who do you see playing basketball? Who do you see playing football?
Yeah.
Who do you see? I mean, as an escape of what people would claim is like poverty.
Right.
So if you don't have poverty, if you don't have despair, if you don't have all these heartbreaking stories, then you don't have it. Yeah. That's what's driving. That's the motivation. That's the ambition of all of these young guys. I got to get out the hood. Yeah. I got to get out the ghetto. I got to get up. We busy trying to get out, but everybody else going there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
When other people come from other countries, where do they come?
They come here.
They come to they come to the hood. Right. When the Chinese and the Korean and the whoever, they come to the hood. There's a lot of wealth in the hood.
Torres Mayfield said, shout out. Hey, Torres. Denisa said, thank you for keeping us informed with boxing. Thank you. Because it has been a sport of, I used to call it the manly art, but as you said before, it was the hunger sport. That's what I call it. Hunger. Right?
Dog eat dog.
And now
survival of the fittest.
Boxing has become so globally because you said they want to you come in as Anthony Joshua, who was making money in the UK, as you said, but he wanted to come here because why? This is where the world gets to know you. You got the Chinese guys, you got the and especially the Russians. They're here now.
Asian.
They're here. You gotta be careful using that word.
No, I'm talking about.
I know. No,
look when the Beatles came, what they said.
That's right. Invasion.
Yeah. Because they become dominant. They dominant now. They dominant. They don't care nothing about before back in the day.
Okay. Oh, she's saying Torres Mayfield is your cousin.
Oh yeah, my cousin.
Oh, your cousin. Oh, Torres. Okay. All right. I got it. I got that. Hello, Torres. How you doing, man? Stay in touch. He does not talking about things for the community. Torres, another guy, does not things for the community as well.
Yes.
The coat giveaways and things that he has, and this Mason group, they do a lot.
That's great. That's great.
But to come boxing was the hunger sport, and here for so many years, as you said. But now the world is using it. I mean, now because these guys are coming, man, they're coming here like crazy. I mean, you look at the Triple G. You know, that guy, he's taking the world by storm.
Yes.
And we're going to cover the cruiserweights as well, because that guy, I forget his name. I can never pronounce his name. He just won the cruiserweight title not long ago. Mm-hmm. But all these guys are coming here. The other night, the kid that was on Fox News about Areola, Polish kid. Mm-hmm. I forget his name, but it'll come to me in a minute. You know, all these kids, these are foreign kids.
Yes, they are.
And I said before that when a young man who's in poverty and he says, I can use these as a way to get out. Yes. My brother was one of those guys.
Yes.
Right? You know, he was a bad kid. Uh-huh. He went to the job corps with one purpose, to get a GED, to get a job. Yeah. But while he was there, he decided, you know, he's still getting in trouble. But somebody said, man, you can take these. Yeah. You can become an Olympic champion. You can do this. And he hadn't thought about those things, but it became it. And boxing, I think, I'm wondering now, in the United States, is it the Hunger Games? Because that it was before, because now we're starting to we had a couple of injuries in boxing. For years has had injuries in the sport, but now we've had a couple of injuries and people come back up with this thing again, saying, well, boxing needs to be banned, which I don't think they'll ever do. No, because injuries is just part of the story.
Not only that, people are always going to see a fight.
Yeah, always. Even if you have one in the street, they're going to line.
I don't care how much mixed martial arts they come up with. They be creating new sports all the time.
So. Yeah, I mean, now, all right. So now, in the cruiserweight division, who's the person there now?
The cruiserweight division has always been, and probably always will be, a revolving door, and an opportunity for anybody to come and knock the next guy off.
Okay.
Like, I'm 47. I can knock one of those guys off. It's not a big deal because everybody is like, it's like a holding station for the next level. Either you're going to go up or you're going to go down. Once you conquer it, the best thing to do is either go up or go down. You can't stay there. Look at my man Usyk.
Okay.
He just went up. Because he can't. It's. I mean, if you're a little too heavy to stay down because you're growing, you got to go up. And if you just barely getting up there, then you got to go down. You got to be light heavyweight, or it's just that competitive. It's not that it's a bad division. It's a very competitive division. Anybody can get it. Any championship, nobody is guaranteed to keep it.
And nobody's dominating it because, as you said, when they get here, most of the time they're going to move up because even the money itself is in the big boys. Sure. And we talked about, you mentioned light heavyweights. I have no idea. I think the last light heavyweight champ I remember was Andre Ward and the kid Kovalev. Yeah. Right now they're gone. So, I mean, there's really nobody interesting. But the interesting weights right now are the middleweights. You got Canelo.
That's always been. You got been.
Yeah, you got the Charlo boys
always
there.
Been.
What do you see? I mean, what do you think about Canelo Alvarez?
I think Canelo's a great fighter. I think he's one of the best.
Now he has this big contract that he signed with Dazn, whatever. And people seem to think that he's been protected because he's not. Everybody wants to see the third fight with him and Triple G.
Sure.
Looks like that's not going to happen because the IBF stripped him the other day. Now, Darian Chenko, I think is his name, and Triple G they're going to go to first bid and fight for the title now. Then you got the Charlo brothers.
Yes.
Jamil, who's out there now. And look, he's not Jamal. I know both of them. Yeah, both of them.
They're both tough.
They're both tough guys. Yeah. But it looks like I always felt that Canelo was running from one of them. I've always felt that. But now, and the IBF taking the belt gave him a chance to do that because now they're saying that they're going to let Darianchenko and Triple G, Golovkin fight for it. So that moves them, that makes them have to wait a little bit more.
Well, look, this is nothing new. Again, there's nothing new in boxing. If you point out something that's going on right now, I could take you back 20, 30, 40 years and show you the same
exact thing.
Look, Aaron Pryor wanted to fight Sugar Ray Leonard so bad. And you know what Sugar Ray Leonard told Aaron Pryor? He's you won't fight everybody. And he didn't fight him.
Yeah, well, I can
because he knew, or he felt like he was going to be a tough. He probably felt like
he knew it was going to be a war.
And it just wasn't worth it for him. Like it didn't make money. It didn't make financial sense for him. So a lot that has to be factored into it, and it's great that guys can pick and choose. Although, you know, you would rather see a fighter say, "Man, I'll fight anybody." And the baddest man, and he feel like he the baddest man, he do want to fight anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Who want it? Who can get? Who, you know? Because it's ego, it's bravado, it's me, I'm macho. But you know,
you say that
you're supposed to have that attitude if you're the fighter,
right.
But then you got the guy behind you who's controlling things for you, who's using and making the best decision for you.
I look at, you know, a lot of, and then now you got the young kid who everybody seems to really be Terrence Crawford. Everybody seems to think, you know, you got Spence, you got Crawford, you got is Pacquiao still there because he just beat. Sure. Them actually, before we get to them, what do you think about the Pacquiao and Thurman fight? What do you think happened in that fight? What did not Keith Thurman do, or was it what Pacquiao did?
It wasn't what Keith Thurman did or didn't do. It was what Pacquiao did.
Okay.
And what Pacquiao did was just be himself. He fast and strong. I don't care. People always talking about, oh, he's in his 40s. It means nothing if you take good care of yourself. If you live well, he lives this. He don't go out drinking, binge drinking, and destroying his body. That man can fight as long as he want to fight. It's just that's just the way it is. Yes, people, you know, you do have to give credence to age. Mm-hmm. You do.
Yeah.
But you also have to give credence to somebody that knows their craft, somebody that respects their craft, and somebody that takes great care of their body. Mm-hmm. You know your craft, you respect your craft, and you take great care of your body. You can fight. You can fight if you want to. You can continue to fight if you want to. I mean, if you really want to.
And especially if the commissions are allowing you. I mean, this guy hadn't come close to.
Well, there's a lot of discrimination there.
Okay.
There's a lot of discrimination there. You're in your 40s? I got to get this medical every year just to keep my license good. Every year I got to get an over 40 medical, which I think is a good thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not mad at it. I think it's good because you need to know if something is wrong with you. I go there every year. I go there and they go, "What? Why are you here?" Yeah. They put me on the machine to run with the thing on my face. I'm running. They're like, "This is a joke." Yeah. This guy's a great shape. Look at his heart. They got the machine now where they could actually look at your heart. Wow. While you running, they look at it. They make you jump off. All right, jump off. All right, jump back on. You know, so it's cool. So I appreciate it.
And the fact that Pacquiao being 40 years old, that doesn't bother you. But okay, but he's beating these younger guys.
Yes, he is.
Thurman, I think, was 29 and 30. I'm not sure what it was they did. Yeah. He's young. And so, but now you got the kid. You got the guys like Spence. Yeah. You got the Sean Porters. Yeah. And of course you got Terrence Crawford. Yeah. Who's like lying in waiting. It seems to me at this point, it seems to be the odd man out. Yeah. Because he is the riskiest. To me, the riskiest of the guys. For one, he's coming from 130, 135, or 140, something like that. So he's come up and he's showing guys that he can beat them so far. Yeah. But now when he gets into the realm of the guys like Errol Spence or Keith Thurman or even the Danny Garcia, because I think Danny Garcia is one of those guys who ever can just get his heart, that extra something that he's meant, you know. I mean, I like Danny.
I like Danny Garcia. I like Danny Garcia too.
But I think that he's one of those guys. It seems that if somewhere along the way, I mean, in the Matisse fight, he proved me wrong. That's when I kind of started because I thought Matisse would knock him out.
You can never count a fighter out. You just can't, especially a puncher. Mm-hmm. The last thing to go is a punch.
Right.
But all you can look at is what did he do last time? That's all you can do. That's all you can look at. You can't judge, 3 fights ago, 4 fights ago. What you can judge though is what are his habits. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a really good analyzer of a video, of a fight video, you're looking at what are his habits. What is he doing every time in each video? Like what does he do the best? What is he the best at? Mm-hmm. Like and that's how you really critique a fighter. Like what is he doing all the time? And is anything changing? Do you see any different changes when he's fighting certain people? When he fights a puncher, does he fight differently? When he fights a boxer, does he fight differently? Does he drop his hand? Does he keep his hand up? Does he throw a lot of left hooks, a lot of right hands? There's so many different. Even though it seems like it's very simple, it's very technical. if you really break it down and look at it, it's very technical.
I watched Mikey Garcia. He's fighting Danny Garcia on the 23rd of this month, in fact. And when Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia, it was a fight that Errol won going away. I thought the size difference made a big difference in that fight, which kind of made all the difference in that particular night. I just think that Mikey didn't have. Everybody thought Mikey was
a good big man beats a good little man all the time.
And everybody thought Mikey would show the same aggression that he had been shown, but I think Errol changed his mind. Now against Danny, who's not the puncher that Errol is, I think he's just as talented.
I don't know if he's not the puncher that Errol is. I don't think he's the technician that Errol is.
Okay.
Danny's a technician too.
Yeah, he is.
I don't think he's the technician that Errol is, because Errol is just a little bit more like machine. He's like a, it's just, it's his time. Like it's his time.
It's his time.
Look, when it's your time, when you got it, this like, I mean, I know you probably don't listen to rap, but when it's your time, like when you look at the era, you look at the eras of Jay-Z when he was just knocking the doors off and stuff. Now it's Drake's time.
Okay.
He even made a song about it. What's he gonna do with it? He's up next. What's he gonna do with it? And he's doing his numbers.
Okay.
So Errol Spence is doing his thing right now. You can't take nothing away from him until somebody take it from him.
Well, he's got this fight with Sean Porter that's coming up in September. I think it's next month.
Yeah,
in September.
Yes.
I personally, and I know, I don't know him as well. I know his trainer, Derrick James, who's a good friend of mine, and we talk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fight that I didn't like, and I'll tell you why I didn't like it.
For Spence?
Yeah, for Spence.
Okay.
I don't think it's a fight he needed, first of all.
Right.
Sean Porter has always had this upset. He's that upset guy.
Yes, he is.
He did it to Broner.
Yes,
he did it to, I think he did it to the other, I forget the other guy's name, but he's an upset guy.
He's got a track record.
Yeah, he's got a track record.
Yes,
his style is horrible for guys like Spence, because he's going to try to make him miss. And
rough him up.
Yep. So I don't think it's a fight that Spence needs to. It's a payday, I guess, maybe so. But at the same time, as you said before, all that glitters is not gold.
It's not.
The fight that stands in front of Errol Spence is Terrence Crawford. Is Manny Garcia. I'm sorry, Manny Pacquiao. That is on my mind. It's Pacquiao. Those fights are there.
I don't think Pacquiao is as interesting as Crawford.
Well, now we were in Dallas when he fought Garcia, but they offered him some big money to take the fight.
Yeah.
But I guess for like this, it was rumored. It's easy to put a rumor. If there's ever a sport that has more rumors, it's boxing. But there was a rumor that they offered him this big payday, and of course he didn't take it. So Errol had the way he wanted to go. I give Errol credit for taking the fight with Porter, and I think the fight's in California. I don't agree with that, but Errol Spence being the fighter that he is, chances are he's going to win this fight. He should. But he and Terrence Crawford are looming ahead.
Yes.
That's next year potentially has the time, considering Manny can stay winning, Errol can stay winning, and Terrence can stay winning. Next year, there's a possibility of having one of the greatest fights in years.
Yes.
In the trilogy of those three guys fighting each other.
Yes.
Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, to me, that's a toss-up, because Crawford can do anything. The guy can do anything from both sides of the room. I haven't seen a guy like that that's capable of doing something from his left side or from his right side in a long time.
True that.
I mean, that's why I think that's just such a. Him and Manny Pacquiao. I like to see Terrence and Pacquiao. I think that, but of course, this thing now with the PBC and Top Ranking, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. But we have better chance of seeing Manny and Errol than we do because they're
Manny and Errol.
Yeah, because they're part of the PBC thing. It was in the next year sometimes. And as I said, if Danny Garcia is victorious, I think it's the 23rd of August later on this month. You'll probably get a chance to see Danny. If anybody's going to be, I don't even use the word sacrifice, but put in, I think
it all goes back to the beginning, man.
The money.
Who Who out of the people that ain't never put on a pair of boxing gloves is gonna make the most money?
Make the most money.
They're gonna make more money than the people that gotta get in the ring and get punched.
Yeah, and nobody ever thinks about that. They think about what the fighters make. As I said before, they have no idea what the guys in the suits are making, and the lawyers and everybody else are getting their percentage. And the fighters don't want to put this.
And nobody else. They don't want you to talk about that.
No, they don't. They don't.
And you and me, we shouldn't be talking about this, right?
That's true. We shouldn't be giving people this information like that. There's no way. But I think, I tell you what I like about doing this is because I really try every week. I try to give people some information on these fights about the sport of boxing and the history of the sport as well. Like I said, last couple of weeks, last few weeks, we've had a couple of injuries. Yeah. The young kid from, I think he's from here, but I think he's a foreign kid as well that got killed in the ring. And then we had the young boy over in Colombia a couple of weeks, about a week after him, at the same thing. And before we go, that's the one question I want to ask you, because I've heard some of your chance to ask a fighter this. Do you ever have that fear of a catastrophic injury when you go into the fight? I mean, do you think about it yourself? Is that on your mind, or you just feel like, I'm so prepared for this, this is not going to happen to me?
Listen, it's a known fact that the head, your body, is not supposed to be getting punched. It wasn't designed for that.
Sports. I say sports in general.
But this is a gladiator sport. Mm-hmm. And if you prepare yourself properly, you can withstand it. And that's the only thing that these fighters do. They prepare to be able to withstand that. So I think being able to withstand that takes a lot of the mysticism out of it. It takes a lot of the doubt out of your mind about thinking you're gonna get hurt. Mm-hmm. There comes a point when you're fighting and you're training and you're getting ready that you're floating. Your training takes you to the point where you feel like you feel invincible, like nothing can stop you, nobody can hurt you. You get to that point in your training and you're ready, like you're ready to go in and take care of your business. Mm-hmm. So if you're not ready, if you know yourself, if you're not ready to get to that level, if you're not ready to go to that level and go to that place where you're feeling like that, then you probably that should be the point where you say, I shouldn't do this anymore. Mm-hmm. Because this is a dangerous game. This is a dangerous sport, and you could get hurt. The last fight that I fought, a guy was headbutting me like I couldn't believe it, like all crazy. But I was able to withstand it because I trained and I got ready. Somebody else who wasn't ready and wasn't trained, they probably would have had a concussion or something. They forced me to go and get a head test. Negative, all good. But again, you have to prepare yourself. The body is not designed to be getting hit and punched, so you have to prepare yourself, and you got to be ready to get in.
I mean, yeah, and I think people look at the contact sports like football, basketball, and hockey. Football, boxing, and hockey. Those are all contact sports. Yeah. And as you said, the bodies just wasn't made to be tackled on, punched on, or anything else. Sure. But I always wondered as a fighter, because it's funny, but these are questions I never asked my brother, because I know that going into the fight that he's fully prepared. Sure. But I've never asked him, do you have this fear of something happened to you one night?
A true champion. And when I say champion, it's not because somebody else recognizes you as a champion.
Right.
When you get in there and you give it 100% of what you got, you a champion.
Yeah.
In my book.
In your book. Right.
You gave it 100% of what you got. You sacrificed, you ran, you ate right, you did everything you were supposed to do. There's a whole laundry list of things that a fighter must do in order to be successful, or even have a chance at being successful. And if you did all of that and you put your life on the line, man, you're gonna be all right.
What do you think about the pound for pound list? I mean, what do you think about that?
I think some of the choices are, people's opinions. It's all people's opinions. Who's the best rapper of all time? That's everybody's opinion. Some people put people on the list. I'd be like, who? What? Where you get this guy from? But everybody's opinion is different. Everybody has a different feel. Some people like boxers. Some people like punchers. Some people like boxer punchers. Some people like puncher. They can box. Yeah. Whatever.
I always felt to me like somebody asked me once why I saw the most dangerous. I said, to me, it's two ways. The dangerous guy is a guy that boxes and learns how to fight. but the most dangerous one that knows how to fight, and then he learns how to box. Because to me, you just taken two of those things. I mean, you got the attitude that you just talked about over here, thinking I can walk through a brick wall. And I don't know a fighter that doesn't think that way. They think they can walk through a brick wall. And I guess that's the way you're supposed to think. So, so when it came to that pound for pound list, I think if I was right, I think that started with Pernell Whitaker back somewhere when they first started listening to that so-called pound for pound list. And I want to ask you about Pernell Whitaker. You know, I mean, it was tragic as it was with him being. But what memories do you have of Pernell Whitaker?
There was a fight at medieval times in New Jersey, and up north New Jersey, and you know, I that was my first chance to actually meet him, and you know, he had this bravado about him, like
cocky,
yeah, but it was cool because I saw this attitude that he had, that
he walks like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
he got this attitude. Yeah. He had this great attitude. I mean, other people might have offended people. I'm sure that it did offend some people, but I thought it was great, and I thought it was a great example of what a fighter should have if he's really going to be at his best. I mean, you got to have this. I'm not saying don't be humble, but I'm saying, man, if you know he knew he was the man.
Like, yeah, he did.
He knew it.
A little guy, but he felt like he was. Yeah, he did.
But he knew. Yeah. So I thought that was great. That was my one great memory of him.
Yeah, he did. For the little guy, he walked like he could be heavy. I could imagine if he would have been a heavyweight, what he would have been like. Yeah. I mean, the guy was fantastic. I want to say hello to Abdul Hampton there in Houston, and this is a comment from Yusef Ali. He says, "Would you agree that Lomachenko smashes Gervonta every day and 2 times a week and 2 times on Sunday?"
Would I agree with that?
Yeah, would you agree with that?
Absolutely not.
I think Lomachenko was one of the most. The guy can do everything.
Absolutely, he can. But you know, one thing that people do is sometimes they step outside of reality a little bit. Mm-hmm. They don't really focus on the reality of what life is really all about. They create 2 different worlds. And understand this. The fact that Lomachenko can fight is great, and that he's such a great fighter because you can't take anything away from him. But the fact that he's white or he's European makes all the difference in the world. That changes everything when you compare him to Gervonta Davis. Look at the great white height. That was just a movie. Yeah. But this guy can really fight. So you get a European guy that can really fight. Mm-hmm. Man, who's not going? The masses, the mass media who's not going to get behind him?
I mean, I'm one of the guys. I remember he was a 2-time Olympian.
Yeah, absolutely. He all his credentials are there.
And he fought for a title like his first or second.
Yeah, fight. First, second. Fight. Who's doing that? Nobody. So look, watch this. The fight has to be fought in the ring.
Yeah.
Everybody can speculate all they want to speculate. I don't agree that Lomachenko smashes Gervonta Davis. I just don't agree with that. Gervonta Davis is a beast.
Yeah, that is. He punches. I mean, he does, but you got to hit. But you have to be able to hit that which is in front of you. And to me, Lomachenko, the problem with nobody's seen. I've seen this guy 3 straight fights made guys quit.
Yeah, but look, watch this. It's all speculation, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The fight got to be fought in the ring.
But that's what makes the hype, though.
But look, that's what we hype it. Hype. I'm not a hype man. You know what I am? Show me. I'm a show me man. I'm from Missouri, man. I'm from the show me state, man. Show me. You can talk all you want to talk. I don't do a whole lot of talking, man. Show me.
I'm this fight to me because as I watched this guy, Lomachenko, I think he lost his first or second. He went back and he's beating everybody that's got in the ring with. But he's so amazing because he's the European version to me of Pernell Whitaker.
But who did he lose to?
You're right.
You don't even know.
No, that's true.
But you don't even know who he lost to.
You have no idea. That's right.
And he's so celebrated. And he's so revered.
Yeah.
Who did Mayweather lose to?
Nobody. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the way to look at it.
He said he retired, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he fight again?
Yeah, he did.
How much money did he make?
Too much. Too much.
So it all goes back to what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
This.
It boils down to the dollar.
This.
I want to make Ivan Robinson is having an event this weekend in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
It's called I think it's Mighty Robinson. I need the phone. Let me have the phone number if you can find it. I want to give people this phone number, but it's an event he's having Saturday for the kids out in. I guess it's an amateur event. It starts at 1:00 on Sunday.
That's beautiful.
And Ivan was with us a couple of weeks ago, and he was we had the conversation like you and I had. He gave us so much information about the sport, but at the same time, he gave us his opinion and his intention on what he thought how the sport of boxing could be. Okay, let me read this for Ivan Robinson. This is called It's a Mighty Thing. Saturday, August the 10th, 4530 Germantown Avenue. First bout starts at 1 p.m. The phone number is 838-481-5888. 838-481-5888 is the telephone number. 4530 Germantown Avenue. It's a mighty thing, and that's sponsored by Ivan Robinson, the boxing show, Under the Bridge. I'm not sure what that means. I know what Germantown Avenue is, but I'm not sure what that means. But anyway, please try to come out and turn out for that. If you're in Philadelphia, we're going to try to go down Saturday for this as well.
That's great.
But like I said before, it's a thing where Ivan is deeply involved with the children there.
That's great,
in Philly. So
any kind of community outreach we can do, man.
Yeah, we can do.
It's awesome.
But again, I want to thank you for coming. But we got to come back because we only touched half the surface of what I want to talk about.
Listen, this thing is so deep. It's just deep. That's all I can say.
Well, I'll thank you. Thank you for coming by, and we want to thank you, Mambo, for stopping by. This was a great because we got a chance to get information out of him that we don't get out of just, and you listen to me talk and yap all the time. So I want to thank him for coming by, and we want to thank you for tuning in. And if you can, we want to remind you this: if you go to the PETN network, you can go into the Provide network. You can download the app. And if you're not near your Facebook, sometimes you can't get to it. You can subscribe to the network, and you can pull us up every Tuesday here at 6 o'clock and 6 to 7 on Tuesdays here at The Choice, in Vibes at The Choice. So, again, we want to thank you for tuning in. And as always, hey, we'll see you at the fights.